On Insights of with me, Martins Oloja, today, we'll continue with our discussion points on beyond student loan. Is it an attempt to remove subsidy from education? Has there been real subsidy on education? And I think that beyond all that, we need to continue with the discussion points on how the government of the day, the federal government and the 36 state governments should pay attention to education as part of critical success factors for their government. In other words, unless we reform education and unless we pay attention to quality in education, most of the problems that have been identified will not be solved, even security. Education is too important to be left to the vagaries of mediocrity here and there. We need to get people to pay attention to it because at the end of the day, that is the vehicle that we can use for country and global competitiveness. Therefore, our leaders at this time are handling so many things at the same time. We praise them for what they are doing, but we want to get state actors in Nigeria, the most populous black nation on earth, the most populous country in Africa. We want them to pay attention to restructuring of our education. The other day, we talked about autonomy and the university system. The autonomy should be done without fear or favor. And it is there. It is just to set them free and let them go. We cannot continue to just have a unified system. We cannot continue to have a unitary system of governance in education. What is more, we continue to just depend on so many other countries without considering why they are where they are. Specifically, as I have been writing about Kuan Yew, everybody has been quoting Kuan Yew. It's very difficult to even put the late Kuan Yew, the iconic leader of Singapore for 32 years. The man who lifted that country from third to first world. The man has been discussed everywhere, but not many people will even like to remember if they care to read the autobiography of Lee Kuan Yew from third to first world. That is on Singapore. Many people didn't know that one critical success factor there is quality in their education. He reformed everything, including the media system. But he played his role in a way that anybody will remember. They don't have oil like we have. They don't have anything other than the human resource, the human capital. They build human capital and they continue to sell that. That's what they have. That's the resource that they sell. They have one of the best airlines. They have one of the best ports and all those things. But when you read the life and times of Lee Kuan Yew in Singapore, you will see how he used quality in their education to lift the country from third to first world. They don't have too many universities, but they have some of the best universities in the world. Same for South Korea. If you read what they do there, they place emphasis on quality in their education and development funding. And they are part of the best 5 in the world, no matter their population. They take research and development as a state matter, as a fundamental objective and directive principle of state policy. They do not joke with it. They do this. They fund not only education as a ministry. They have ministry of education. They also have a ministry for knowledge development. They are two different things. Yes, the general education, but knowledge development, that is where their own student loan comes out. They give scholarship, not just loan. They give scholarship to their exceptional children to go to the West to learn the best and come back home to develop the place, and then they produce more researchers, and they use their research to even help their industry. It's the intellectual capital that you have there is what is driving whatever they do. They fund education quality in South Korea. Those two Asian countries stand out as part of the best we can have anywhere. But they don't joke with education. You can read the details of what they have done with quality in their education. Or specifically Korea, knowledge development is their number one point that they sell to the world. We can't compare Ahmadu Bello University with any of those universities. We can't compare University of Benin, especially those first generation universities. We cannot compare them with some of these ones that they are just setting up in terms of even governance system, in terms of curriculum development, in terms of quality in the professors that they have here and there. You grant autonomy for these universities to specialize in certain courses, especially in some areas where they need to emphasize agriculture, where they need to emphasize information and communication technologies, where they need to emphasize legal education, and so many of these things like that. We cannot continue to generalize everything. For us to develop, we need to pay attention to quality in our education from primary through secondary to tertiary level. It's not about just the university system. If we do not have good STEM subject candidates comprising science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, those subjects where people can excel in science and technology, we will not go anywhere. Therefore, in 21st century, our leaders should continue to pay attention to scholarships that they want to give to people, and even the loan they want to give to people. We cannot obtain loan or scholarship to read certain courses. I don't want to mention courses, but we know the courses that will advance any nation. We know what is trending around the world. Why don't we single out mathematics teachers, for instance, and some physical science subjects teachers as special people? That doesn't mean that humanities are not, humanities and some other social science subjects are not important. They are important, yes. As it is written, all animals are equal, but some at this time are more and should be more equal than others. That is all I have for you this week until we meet again next week on Inside Stuff with Martins Oloja. Bye-bye.